And I say this about men, but women do the same thing, right? Women love the idea of getting status from a man. Mm-hmm. Women love the idea, and this is where it actually gets a bit messy. The waters get muddy because women love the idea of bragging about the man they're with, but they can only brag about the man they're with if other women want that man. So you're saying you love women who get cheated, women love getting cheated on. That's not true. But women do not like men that other women don't want. Mm-hmm. If you were to say, look, I got my man, he's perfect, he's rich, he da-da-da-da-da, and every girl in the room would go, I would never touch him. She'd be like, oh, shit. Oh, I don't want him either, man. What the fuck
but
is
you
this?
know, can I don't talk about that?
But it's true, right? No. Women want...
You don't have to talk. I don't talk like that. What gets me tight about this girl right here in the center is that I feel like she focuses a lot on, I don't do this, but I don't do that. Yeah, you're one out of a majority of women who probably do that. That's what he's talking about. Like, if you talk to a bunch of women, you see that a lot of them do that, where it's like, my husband is not something every girl in this room wants. That makes me uncomfortable. Or my boyfriend, that makes me uncomfortable. Like, did I choose an ugly guy? Is it gonna be, are my children gonna be ugly? Or is he never gonna grow up in life? Who knows what's going through the girl's head? Clearly. Good for you, you don't think like that. I don't think like that as well. A lot of women I know don't think like that. It won't matter to them because I don't want y'all looking at my man anyways. It's not really something I like to go to sleep at night knowing that there's a billion girls checking. You know, that's the problem with sometimes having a very handsome husband or a handsome wife. It's stressful knowing that they're so beautiful. Sometimes you wonder, are they going to leave me for that person? So not necessarily that you'll be happier with having a regular girl or boy, but the stress levels go down a lot because it's like no one's checking for him, no one's checking for her. I could sleep a little bit easier at night knowing that it's more likely we'll stay with each other instead of having them realize, oh, I'm actually really a dime, like a dime 99 plus tax, and now let me go be with someone who's also on my dime level, just leaving you in the dust. Clearly he's not just talking about you. Clearly he's not just talking about me and the other 4 to 8% of women who think like this. It's just the majority of women think if he ain't up to par with at least 99 of my friends, then I'm gonna feel a type of way. And it's like, I guess I'm married down. When he can make like 150K, he just doesn't look like he makes 150K, nor does he have like the height or maybe the suave or something.
I want men that all the women want.
Do you know what's the best man that woman wants? Is the one that every girl wants, but he doesn't want them. Okay. A selective man.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's more valuable than the top that gets every hoe.
You're saying
that's
that
the
men,
fantasy.
But Tate,
no,
you're saying that men are now polygamous and women should accept that. That's the problem. Men are continuously disrespecting their woman. Like, yeah, you know what? You can't be with one woman. Now you want to keep cheating with all these different women.
That's not what he said. He's saying if you're gonna go for a high status guy, if you're gonna go for the top 5% of guys, that's what comes with it. And if not, then go for the average guy.
Can I just say that before...
So is it okay for average guys to stick with one woman then?
It's not about okay. It's okay for anyone to do whatever they want. I'm not sitting here saying what's okay and what isn't okay. What I'm talking about is observations about the baseline realities of how humans function. What I'm telling is if you give a man unlimited options, like the men at the top of society have, on a long enough time scale, he will explore said options. That is a fact. Like I said earlier, you can walk into a car garage and buy a Nissan, and that's reliable, and it'll never let you down. Or you can buy a McLaren. You cannot sit, like women do, and go, I want the McLaren that's reliable like the Nissan. Well, guess fucking what? That's not real. So you have to choose.
Can I ask you something, Mr. Tate? Can I ask you something? Years ago, right, do you think it makes a difference? Because years ago, if you want to meet a man, you go out there, you actually talk. But now you meet a guy, he can go and check out your IG and see what you're all about. Don't you think that by them being able to look and see what you're all about, that makes a difference to how they perceive you?
100%. I think society is fundamentally and utterly broken.
In a way, it's both good and bad. One, we should go back as a society to talking to each other 1,000%. But then, in a way, it also cuts out the BS because if you want a good woman and she's half naked on the gram, already not that she's not a good woman, it's just, I don't want my girl half naked on the gram. That's just a fact. And if you're a man, or if you're a woman and you want a good man, if you got shirtless pics all over the gram, I already know you thawing it up for sure. So I'm not trying to deal with that either. So it's weeding out the bull. You tell me you want to go out with me, all right, cool, you give me your number, give me your IG, whatever. I can look you up, TikTok, gram, I can see what you are. So I know, okay, this one is Chris Brown. I don't need Chris Brown in my life. Block the number, delete the Instagram. Done. Whereas back then, you couldn't really see that. You had to talk and maybe waste some time, a few dates before you get to know that. So there's pros and cons.
I think the way that men and women interact is broken. I think that men are broken. I think that women are broken. I think everything is completely fucked, genuinely. And this is where we go into the small things. We're talking about status. You're right about IG. If I go on a date with a girl and I look at her Instagram page, I'm sitting there thinking, does this make me look good or bad? Yes, I want her to be hot. Yes, I want her to have followers. Yes, I want everyone chasing her. But what's that caption about fucking city life?
Like,
what's this about? What's that? That's not, nah, that puts me off, right? So it's interesting.
Stressful.
What's also interesting is the majority of women don't have a clue in the modern world what men find attractive. So we said earlier in the very beginning of this podcast about men who want their dick sucked and all this bullshit. Men don't, that's not attractive to men. We don't want any of that. Yeah. Most women, if you were to say, how do you attract a man? They wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. They wouldn't have an idea.
I know. They want a submissive woman.
Hello, my
she
name's
cooks for
Denova.
him. Give him some massage.
Feed
him great.
It's not just, it's not
Pat his head.
It's not just about that. One of the important things for being a man, especially in a relationship, is we want to be our woman. If I have a woman and I love her, I want to be her portal to the world. I want her to experience things through me and see things through me. So for that, I need a degree of innocence and purity for her. I want to be the first person to put her on a private jet. I want her to get on the jet and go, wow. I did it. Oh, you took me. It's like you wouldn't want to give someone a Christmas present if they'd had 10 presents better than you beforehand.
Yeah,
would you? It's like, well,
Yeah.
So as a woman, what makes you attractive to a man, to a degree, is your innocence and your purity. This is very important. And it can go down to very basic, simple things. I'll tell you, if I walk in a club, do you know who the hottest girl in the club? It's the girl who isn't dancing, isn't twerking on fucking stage, not surrounded by dudes. When girls want male attention in a club, they start drinking, twerking. That is the most revolting, haram bullshit. I may want to fuck you, but I don't want to be with you. If you show me a girl sitting in the corner, shy, I'm like, good, she hasn't experienced too much life. I can show her things. And also, not just show her things. This is a very important point that I get attacked by the Matrix for because they completely misunderstand me on purpose. As a man, if I'm out here struggling and leading and trying to lead my household, I also want a woman who shares my values. I want to a degree to educate my woman and show her things and for her to agree with me. Like you said earlier, you're looking for a male role model. You want to be a role model to your woman. If she's too experienced with life, it's difficult to be a role model. If she's sitting there shy and quiet, you can come along and say, no, you know what? Don't take the fucking vaccine. Listen to me. And you can be a role model for her. You can't do that for a woman who knows too fucking much, knows too many dudes, been too many places. So it's this degree of purity that we're looking for that's super important.
I'm curious if she's like done too many things, that's like bad. Right?
Yes, correct.
So I'm not even talking sexually, like been on a private jet. Yeah. I'm curious because I lived
But how do you get on a private jet without sucking dick?
Oh, I was just curious because my dad's part of like.
I would like to say you have a friend or like a fam, but like more often than not, as a girl, that's not a 100% true statement. Goodness, but it probably is up there with like 85 to 90% because as a woman, women don't usually have private jets to have private jets. That's just one. There's many female celebrities who do not have private jets. Oh, wow, that's interesting. It's obviously not the case for everyone. Clearly, someone might have a friend here where you got this connection there, but to get on the private jet, you probably
top like 1% in terms of like income. And I was just curious, is it different if you did stuff with your dad?
Well, no, that's fine.
That's different.
Not sexual. That's different. No, I'm not like
you
said private jet. Yeah, private.
I know what you're saying. Well, I mean, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my point is that we're looking for a true degree of innocence inside of females, and it's that innocence is going to make us feel protective over them, and that the protectiveness is going to make us be good men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we're looking at society as a whole and how broken it is, I understand that men have a massive role to play, women have a massive role to play, but a lot of the paternal instincts and instinctual behaviors of men, because the instinctual behavior of man is to die for his woman. Mm-hmm. Like someone comes to try and take her, pull a sword, die to defend her, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going through life and you find that men don't really feel about you that way, that's because a lot of their instinct is being eroded by the fact that you, like you said, they look through your IG or they look through your life and you've lived so much life and they just feel like, there's nothing new I can bring to this girl's reality.
But I don't feel like that's true, though, because, like, I think it's like, I get what you're saying to a degree, right? But it's like, you could be on a private jet 10 times, but it's going to be special because it's with you.
Yeah. Not for him, it isn't. Not for him. For him, it's special because it's your first time. Because men, maybe it's a biological predisposition. Maybe it's just the way we're designed. But let's tie it back to sex. Virginity, first time. It's not that you've done it. It's that you've done it with the first time with me. That's what is important. It's experience as a whole that men find. It's just the truth. Call me misogynistic, cancel me, whatever. I'm telling the truth, I always have done. It's experience of life as a whole that men, to a degree, find off-putting. We don't want a woman who's had a bunch of trauma, had a bunch of experiences, done a bunch of shit, knows a bunch of people, been a bunch of places. That's the absolute opposite of what we want. We want the complete polar opposite of that. And what's funny is women want men who have done those things. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, go out there and find a virgin woman and say, do you want to have your first boyfriend? Do you want to lose your virginity to a virgin man or a man or a man who's had a couple girls? She'll choose a dude with experience as a virgin herself. Experiences.
I'm choosing the virgin man, but yes.
I
know majority would choose otherwise.
In men, it's the opposit in women.
That's true.
It's true. So we have to look at how fucked up the world is. Women, especially between their 18 and 28 or 18 and 25, let's say, are living these crazy lifestyles, these crazy lives with the most important people, richest people on the planet, doing everything that can be experienced under the sun. And then at 29, 30, some dude's expected to come along, know he's second place to X, Y, Z, and be happy with that, and not allow
a man feeling second place as opposed to a woman feeling second place. Because I forget the answer that they had earlier, but I'm pretty sure it's out there. If there's a statistic, or maybe it isn't, but like most women, a lot of women wouldn't be oh no, I'm not gonna be a second or third wife to like a Nick Cannon. No. They will be a second or third or fourth wife to like a Nick Cannon. Men don't like to be a second or third husband to a woman. It's two different things. Like sister wives, that crap don't make no sense to me. You are never gonna see brother husbands. No man ever wants to share his wife like that. So it's like a man doesn't like to be number two. Women in that realm, it's like I could be second or third or fourth or fifth, sixth wife, no problem. But a man, it's not. So I see where he's saying where it's like a man wants to be that first time, that first try, that first everything. I want to be your first.
Hurt his ego and sit there and pick it up and put a fucking brave face on. It kills him every day inside. That's the reality. He's in love with you. And you've been fucking where with fucking who? I can't afford a jet. I'm Joe Schmo. Okay. That fucking breaks their hearts.
Do you think that hoes can ever be turned into housewives?
Okay, I'll answer that question. And the answer is actually...
People can change. So yeah, they can be turned into housewives. I do think, like Brittany here, they live the whole lifestyle now. They want to be a housewife. So they can. But I wonder if the question is, can you find a hoe while she's still a hoe and then turn her into a housewife? That I don't know too much about. But if you find a hoe after she's lived a whole life, yes, she can be a housewife now. But if you was trying to make a hoe, like you met a hoe right now, she's a hoe right now, and you try to turn her into a housewife, it's possible, but it's a lot less likely that will happen if she's currently doing it as opposed to Brittany, where I was a hoe, now I'm done, now I want to be a housewife.
Fully, yes. Which I know a lot of people are confused by. They can. If you're a good enough, high enough level man, you absolutely can turn a hoe into a housewife, but why the fuck would you? Because you don't have to. A man like me, I could. But I'm not low on options, so I would never decide to do that. If you're a billionaire, could you can find an old rusty car and rebuild it, or you can just buy a new one, right? So it's not about what could be done, it's about what will be done.
Good analogy.
So once women hit a certain status of man, I don't think women are stupid. I actually argue the fact that women have a beautiful intuition. I think that women, to a degree, their intuition is truly almost psychic. The number of times I've come home and she's like, "You were cheating." And I was like, how the fuck does she know I'm fucking cheating? Like, you have intuition and it's real. You guys are smart, right? And if they get to a certain echelon of man, they're not going to go anywhere because there's nowhere else to go. They're going to get to a guy eventually. They're going to stop at the buck and go, you know what? Where am I going to surpass this specimen? So I'm just going to behave for him. So you could turn a hoe into a housewife that way. But why would a man at that level want to do that?
Why do some guys at certain, and this is obviously a celebrity example, but I'm sure we can all think of examples in like day-to-day life where a guy with a lot of options does pick a hoe and like wife her, like for example, Kim and Kanye. Because Kanye clearly has options, right?
She did not want to be a housewife.
No,
she was a project.
Okay, I understand. I'm just asking. Because some guys do pick.
Yeah, they do, and it's a really good point. And I have nothing bad to say about Kanye. In fact, I think a lot of the work he's doing now in terms of attacking the Matrix is important. But I can give you a generalized answer. But it's a man who is not true to his masculine imperative, which is going to fall for the propaganda machine, which is being purported upon him, who's going to believe that all the crap that is being told by society, like a female's past doesn't matter and all this shit doesn't matter. This is what's interesting in the fight against the Matrix, because people always say to me, Andrew, why do you come here and say all these things? They're literally trying to destroy your life for what you say. And the truth is, as a man, you have two choices. You either fight against the programming and the brainwashing they're trying to put inside of all of our minds, or you end up fighting against yourself. If you're a man and you sit down and you believe the garbage that society is telling you about how society functions between men and women, you're going to end up getting fucking wrecked like these dudes do. They sit there and go, just because she's fucked everyone doesn't mean she'll do it again. Just because, and they sit there like dummies and they get fucking wrecked. Right? You have to sit there as a man and go, no, I don't give a shit what society's telling me. I understand something baseline about humanity, right? And that's why they make these poor choices. And a lot of men do make these poor choices, but it's only in the West. It's only in the West where this propaganda machine exists. You will not find a Russian billionaire doing this dumb shit. You will not find a Chinese billionaire doing this dumb shit. You do not go to Saudi and find a sheikh doing this dumb shit. None of it. You only find it in the West.
Do you think the values of the West are spreading?
What values?
So
name a value.
Okay. Sorry.
Name a value.
Sorry, I might have misspoke. I mean, like the ideas of the West. Like I've just gotten I get messages from people like from all over, and like in places like India, I've heard feminism is spreading there. Like I've heard that.
Nigeria.
Do you not find that to be true?
So firstly, the West has no value. The only thing the West seems to defend fervently is LGBT. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not. I'm just saying it's the only thing that they'll stand up and fight for. I don't know why. It's weird. Like this, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about children going without child support. They don't care about people dying in wars. They don't care about our parents being in parenting homes. They don't care about crime. They don't care about no one being able to pay their energy bills. They don't care about nothing. But they give a shit for some reason about this one thing, and they'll fucking throw the flag all around the world.
Surrounded around sex.
That's all they care about. It's fucking strange. So that's the first thing about the values of the West. Second thing, the harder society and the harder the life is as a whole, the longer it's going to take for feminism to spread. Feminism only exists in a vacuum of an easy life. If you're living in a society like India, where life is hard, feminism disappears because the harder life is, the closer people naturally revert to their gender roles. If you got a bunch of 10 men, 10 women, stranded them on a desert island, and they had to survive, very quickly the men would do men shit and the women would do women shit. There'd be very little talk about feminism.
It literally cannot work unless there is just this freedom everywhere else. So like it's almost like it's gonna stay in America. It's gonna stay in maybe England. It's gonna stay in places where everything is perfectly fine. They have the freedom, they have the time to just think this way. So we have the ability to do that, but where it's war torn and life is hard, there's literally worse things to worry about. This lifestyle, these ideas cannot be magnified. There's way more important things to worry about. Whereas when you are doing the older ways, the tried and true ways, it just makes life easier. We're not doing the new Western ideals because they got the time to do that. We don't have the time to do it. We still have to fix our countries.
Equality and all this shit would fucking vanish when shit hits the fan, right? So in countries where life is harder, feminism can't take hold because feminism can only exist in a vacuum of a very privileged life. I'm sure there's some kid in India who didn't get laid off some chick and he's complaining she's a feminist. There's a bunch of dumb shit, right? But I think the world is going to get a lot harder. I think the world is cyclical. I think it's been easy for a while. I think hard times are coming. And when hard times come, people are going to naturally revert to what gives them the highest chance of survival, which is gender roles, right? I have the best chance of survival being a man, and a woman has the best chance of survival being my woman. That's how she's going to function.